Here we go. It's another crappy day, but it is autumn. You get rain in autumn, and we've got a bit of rain today, as you can see. Rain falling, no flying. It's also a bit cold, so time for another ranty vlog to the camera. So here we are, and as I said, it's raining. When I use internal lights here, look, it gets reflections off my glasses, makes me look funny, but it's life. Anyway, what am I talking about today? Well, an update on our wonderful council here in Tokoroa, New Zealand. A demonstration of the calibre of these people and the obstacles, the hurdles I face, just trying to get them to do the right thing. Honestly, it is absolutely mind-boggling. If you wrote a novel and put the stuff in it, people would say it's just beyond fiction. It's impossible. That could never happen, but as you will see today, things do happen now. Every time there's a council meeting, the council allows the public to speak for 5 minutes before the meeting. We're able to address the council, the full meeting of council. It's the councillors and the mayor and the associated staff. We're allowed to talk about anything we want. Well, no, not really. I'm going to show you now what the mayor says before these forum sessions. So these are the limitations that the council places on what people can say.
Right, good morning everybody. I'd like to declare the meeting open for the 19th of April. Could we all please stand for the opening prayer? Thank you. Dear Lord, we're meeting together today to conduct matters of business. Guide our hearts and our minds in the spirit of fairness, right thought and speech. Impart your supreme wisdom upon our activities so that our affairs may reach a successful conclusion. Thank you for being our source of guidance today. Amen.
Amen.
There being no conflicts of interest, we will move on to the public forum. We have 4 people this morning who've put their names forward wanting to speak to elected members. There will be 5 minutes each, and that will be timed. Who's doing that? Thank you. So 5 minutes each, please. The restrictions, and I do put these forward at the beginning of the public forum. There are just a couple of points that I do need to remind people, or remind the speakers, that criticising elected members and or staff, I will rule that to be unacceptable, and I will stop the presentation. If the speaker is being repetitious, disrespectful or offensive, that is another reason I will stop the speaking. If the speaker has previously spoken on the same subject, that will be, or the same issue, and if the matter is subject to legal proceedings as well, that will be, those presentations from the public forum will be stopped.
Yes, you heard that right. You are not allowed to criticise. You can't criticise the staff, you can't criticise elected members, so effectively you cannot criticise the council. This is one of those free speech things where you're free to say anything you like as long as it is in praise of council, which is kind of, I don't know, narcissistic on the part of council. You work it out, but no, you can't criticise the council, so it's not possible to raise issues that are really important, things where the council has done something wrong or where they should improve, lift their game. They have the head in the sand approach to dealing with issues and problems. We don't want to hear about them. We only want to hear you say nice things about us, not anything that would perhaps upset us. So they're very delicate, very sensitive to this sort of thing, but and you're not allowed to repeat. If you've already spoken on a subject, you cannot speak on it again, even if something dramatic has changed. So in order to get my 5 minutes, I had to talk about something else. So I talked about dogs for the start, and this kind of tied in. I won't show you all that footage because it's pretty boring, but I spoke about how dogs, are potentially dangerous, are potentially annoying, yet we let people walk those dogs around the local park here. They don't need a permit, they don't need to ask permission in advance. Yet with drones, we do need a permit. We do need to ask permission in advance now. And in fact, some of the parks are just out of bounds again. Once again, the council has reversed its original decision that people could fly drones in the parks. Now you're not allowed to. So although myself and others have been flying in this local park for 5 months based on assurances given by council that we wouldn't be prosecuted until the policy in place at the time was updated to reflect the changed position after much public consultation. You recall back in December, I did a video where the mayor agreed that people should be able to fly their drones in the park. So she drew a prize out of a bucket. I spoke about this in my last vlog. So people could fly drones in the park. She drew the prize winner out of a bucket and said, "My grandson would like this drone. It'd be fantastic." So she was all drone positive. And then, of course, we've had this 180-degree about face. But I just to make sure, I had to be sure, I asked 2 of the councillors who were present at the meeting where this assurance was given that we could fly in the parks without fear of prosecution. I asked them just to confirm that this was the case. I wasn't confused. I hadn't misremembered stuff because I'm old and my brain's feeble. So maybe I'd misheard, misunderstood. So I asked them, and here's how that little piece of the forum went. Basically, the council did a really good job. They listened to the people. I had 20 submissions on the issue of whether people could fly drones in the parks, and almost without exception, they were from people who said, yes, people want to be able to fly our drones in the parks. And the council listened, and there was a statement made that it was not the intention of council to prosecute anybody for flying their drones in the park under the policy that existed at the time. And this was a little bit of a problem because that was the stated intention of council, but I raised the issue that the current policy actually forbid flying in the parks. So several councillors agreed, and those councillors included Councillor Ngapo Lipscome, Councillor Schulte, Councillor Gash, and Councillor Bell. Of course, the latter 2 are not here today. I think they sat down and we all agreed that because the policy was at odds with the stated intention of council, that an assurance would be given that no one would be prosecuted under that policy until the policy was reviewed. Now, can I just ask for confirmation that Councillor Schulte, is that what you understood the situation? Yeah, Councillor Ngapo Lipscome?
Yes.
Okay, right. So we had an assurance. So there you go. The 2 of the councillors that were at that meeting agreed. Yes, the council did give an assurance that people should be allowed to fly their drones in the parks without fear of prosecution. Can't get much clearer than that. Can't get much clearer than that at all. So, since this policy had been apparently unilaterally reversed, seemingly by the mayor, I decided to ask the mayor why it was reversed, or why the policy was changed, and who was responsible for that change. And here's how that went. I was not advised personally that this policy had changed, or this position by council had changed. So I would like to know why it had changed, who made the decision, and what's the rationale for it. I wonder if perhaps the mayor could answer that question, since the mayor was the one who made the proclamation.
Thank you, Mr. Simpson. You've had your 5 minutes.
Yeah, now there's generally only 2 reasons an elected official will not respond to a question or will not answer a question. The first one is they don't know. But that's easy. They just say, I don't know. And the second one is they're not going to answer if it's going to incriminate them or it's going to embarrass them. So I'll leave you to work out why the mayor chose not to answer my questions. Just basically end of time, that's it. But was it the end of the time? Was it because I was simply out of time that the mayor chose not to respond to my questions? Well, you might think so, but then this happened.
Thank you, Mr. Simpson. You've had your 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Question, Councillor Machin.
Mr. Simpson, what sort of dog do you own and how often do you take it walking down a glade?
The relevance?
Well, it's a question. You've been asking people questions with no relevance.
Okay.
I just want to know what sort of dog you have.
I don't have a dog.
So this is another fairy tale like you standing for the council or the mayoralty. I will just give you a short answer. I was overseas at that last meeting, and when I came back and seen on Facebook you were blatantly advising people to break a bylaw of this council, I insisted that you be contacted and be told that you needed permission, as you had done numerous times before, to fly in that area, until we had a chance to change the bylaw. If you continue to flap our bylaws and to poke a stick at this council, and I've just about had enough of it.
But that is not what I was told.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So
Are there
thank
any
you.
other questions? Thank you, Mr. Simpson.
As you can see, there was plenty of time left because the mayor opened the floor up to questions from councillors. And this councillor, the one we've just seen, notice I'm a bad person because I don't have a dog. Excuse me? This is what's called an ad hominem attack. If you don't understand what that is, look it up on YouTube. But basically it's when someone chooses to attack the messenger, not the message. And what's happened here, it's like the former mayor. this councillor completely has no ammo in his war chest. He doesn't like me. He's proven it time and time again. And he wants to come back at me, but he doesn't have any ammo. So he just engages in a personal attack because I don't have a dog, and I didn't run for mayor, and I didn't run for council. So, excuse me, it shows the paper-thin connection these people have with the reality of the world. But then he goes on to say there that I was inciting people to break the bylaw. But he admits he wasn't at the meeting where this assurance was given, and we've just had 2 councillors confirm that an assurance was given that people could fly their drones. So how was I inciting people to do the wrong thing when the council, by admission of those 2 councillors, had said that people could fly their drones in the parks? This guy is really, it shows you the level of personal pettiness that exists within our council. Now, remember the footage I showed you when I wanted to have the international fly-in, and the councillor got all uppity and said, oh, if you want your friends to fly at our airfield, then I expect to see a 6-figure deposit. I mean, this is the kind of, when these people don't have any real ammo, any real evidence, any real positions to criticise me from, they just come out with all this crap. And this councillor did exactly that this week. Unbelievable. It puts the council in such a bad position. It really does damage the reputation of the council when these people are obviously unable to set aside their own personal feelings, their own personal dislikes, to do their job properly. And the mayor, why did she not answer those 2 very simple questions? Why was this assurance withdrawn, and who was responsible for it? Because she can't answer them without basically saying, it was me, and I did it because I don't like you. What can you say to that? And the thing that concerns me most is, okay, now I can't fly in the parks, but neither can anybody else. What is going on? What is going on? The local council said, we consult with the public and we listen to their submissions. Well, it looked like they did. Back in December, over 20 people made submissions saying we want to be able to fly our drones and our toys in the parks. And we want our kids to be able to fly their drones and toys in the parks. And initially the council did listen. That's why they gave the assurance that nobody would be prosecuted and that people could fly their drones and toys in the parks without the requirement of specific permission or whatever. So it looked like everything was going smoothly. But then I guess I upset the mayor, and the only way she can get back at me is to withdraw everyone's privilege from flying drones in the park. So she has basically thumbed her nose at the community, and more importantly, she has thumbed her nose at those 2 councillors who stood up and said, this is what happened. She's basically, is she calling them a liar? I don't know. It's like, it's not good when a council is obviously, we've got 2 members of council who are honest, ethical, upright, and stand up for the facts, and we've got a mayor and another councillor. Well, the mayor won't say anything because she doesn't want to incriminate herself, and the other councillor just comes up and accuses me of not having a dog. As I said, this is a fiction you would not believe in a novel, but it's the reality. It's the facts. Here I presented you with the video evidence of exactly what's happened. Really, I could feel sorry for myself, but I don't feel sorry for the people of this community who are lumbered with such an inept council. Not all of them, as I say, 2 of them obviously proved their worth in this session. The rest, what can you do? Very sad, very unfortunate, very tragic for the people of this town, and it's actually, it has effects in other areas as well, which I'm not going into. But so there we go. I'm grounded, the rest of the community is grounded, and the mayor is, well, you tell me. Now, I believe that this has done a lot of damage to the reputation of the council. I think it's brought the council into disrepute. The mayor's actions, by by reversing this assurance unilaterally, without consultation with the community, and by refusing to answer 2 very, very simple questions, which if she had nothing to hide would be very easy to answer. By refusing to answer those questions, she has brought the council into disrepute. And this other councillor, by accusing me of not having a dog, and then admitting he wasn't at a meeting, and that he was unaware of this assurance that was given, so I was guilty of inciting people to break a bylaw. No, he's just showing his personal petty agendas. So both of them have brought this council into disrepute. Now, the council does have a standard ruling that says no member of the council may bring the council into disrepute. And if somebody does, they should be censured. But do you think that's going to happen? No. No, it's not. It's not going to, because the mayor is never going to censure herself. But what do you do? Anyway, that's a little entertainment for you. And I noticed this as I was entering the council chamber, or the council building. I walked up to the council building and look at this. just as I predicted. But I didn't use dueling banjos for copyright reasons. Anyway, that's it. That's me for today. Just on a wet, miserable, rainy day, I thought I'd share the experiences of the week with you. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for your support. Now, of course, I've got things to do, but it's a miserable old day, so I should probably be continuing editing up a whole lot of the footage I've got here sitting on my machine. Oh, and if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. I apologise for the lighting. And you can always go and have your say on the council's Facebook page, which I'll put a link to in the description of this video. If you think our council's doing a sterling job, then please go and commend them. But don't be rude. You know, just be honest and factual. And if you think they're perhaps not doing such a good job, then you might mention that, but they'll probably ignore it too. And thanks for watching. See you later, guys. It's too hard to believe, isn't it? Crazy people. Never mind.